Alright, it is Friday, 9/26, June the 4th, and this is the main watch list. FBCD morning panic bounce play. AMC is just going to be a wash. This thing can do anything really. HTZGQ. I don't know why it's in this watch list. I think it's because it wasn't saved yesterday on accident. AAPT morning panic bounce play. BB's just going to be a wash as well. This one should not be here either. NWGC, this could be a morning panic bounce play. I like this one and MJWL because it just fell at the end of the close. Maybe that's a signal that we could have a morning panic bounce play today, but it's just going to be a wash in the meantime. Yeah, just going to be watching all those meme stocks and looking for morning panic bounce plays on these OTCs. Alright, it is 9:37, just one trade so far with FBCD morning panic bounce play. It wasn't a perfect setup, but it worked in that I bought 185, risking it off of, I guess, really just this wick here, the low of day. That's really my risk level. I think it would take decent volume for it to get below it. This was a big volume candle, took a buy at 185. That was 933 right here. This is when I took a buy, and I'll tell you what, it was a drought just waiting there. No price action, no movements, just what it looks like right here, just the Sahara Desert just doing absolutely nothing. You can tell here it did absolutely nothing too. So once I realized how dry the setup was in terms of volume, that's when I would consider selling. Either risk it right here, or if we have an uptrend, I'll sell into it, but I'll be less hesitant on getting out of the trade. I'll be more interested in getting out. So I only held this for a minute. Yeah, I sold at 934 and my sell was at 191. And why did I consider a sell? Because it was just slightly above VWAP. Put in a limit. I think my limit was at 19. Yep, and it got executed at 191. I guess if you want to be perfect, I could have gotten executed at 194, but that wasn't the case. There was some buying action, but this thing ultimately just doesn't have nice volume. Even if it doesn't have much volume, it'll be interesting to see if it kind of breaks VWAP and then kind of downtrends below it and then rips towards 2 cents. That would be cool. Or whatever it's going to do. It's just going to be a wash. I don't want to trade it anymore for the rest of today, really. NWGC, this one was impressive. More impressive, I think, was MJWL. This one just spiked initially from 40 cents to 52. I'm not really good at stocks that just spike at the market open. NWGC, very nice here. I didn't look at this as a morning panic bounce play. I think because I just saw the candle here, then I stopped looking at it, and because it shows that it's green on the day. But this is nice. 27 to 30, that's 10% give or take. It's just gonna be a watch. I guess that makes sense, right? Because they made it fall really hard right at the close. So now that we're at 31, even though we're way off of its highs, at highest was 36, it looks like it's still a green day up. 13%. We do have a wick, but all the newbies who are trading with freaking line charts, they're not gonna know that. MJWL, also had that panic and then it spiked, so now it looks like it's up nice, 27%, but it's really not that nice. But that's impressive. I've never thought about that before. No setups at the moment. It's just gonna be a wash. I don't think there's gonna be any more morning panic bounce plays, but you never know. Okay, it is 9:58 a.m. Just one small update. The only setup I'm looking at now is the inverse head and shoulders. I actually thought about taking a buy at 14.91, right, in this candle, I believe, but we had a big spike, and would have been very speculative. I mean, I saw that it could reverse based on the price action, but how much? That's something you don't really, at least I don't really know. But if I wanted to be risky, I could buy here, saying, all right, this could be the head of the inverse head and shoulders. I'll take a spike, maybe a little past VWAP. Who knows if it will be an uptrending or downtrending inverse head and shoulders? But I don't know. I had a feeling this thing was going to do this uptrend right here from price action, but no clue as to how much it would spike. But I'm just going to play it safe and just wait You know, this thing could still do it. It does this all the time where it spikes, red candle, you know, does a spike right here, like red candles, I guess. It could totally fail too. That's why I'm not in any trade. If it makes the inverse head and shoulders, ideally an uptrending one or one where they're both at the same level, I'll be interested in that. BB, that's the case there. FBCD's back at 192. It got as high as 2 pennies, which is impressive. Yeah, well, maybe it might not have even have traded 2 pennies. It probably did, but that was the highest it got to. I don't feel bad again because the volume was horrible. Somebody sold a lot, but we're still holding this level right here. It's not like yesterday where it had that slight uptrend, because this is like right around that VWAP level, so it's not really the same. AMC, nothing I want to trade. AAPT, nothing I want to trade either. NWGC, nothing I want to trade either. MJWL is holding VWAP. Maybe it can try it and make a run, try to win back some of its losses. Maybe not. Again, this thing is kind of far from its highs, right? Oh, I guess it's not that bad, honestly. Well, looking past 3 days, but if we go to 7, we start seeing that this is kind of far, but it's not that bad, honestly. It'll just be a wash. This thing could totally just uptrend too. So, yeah, no setups right now at the moment. I'll keep looking, but just a potential inverse head and shoulders with BB, but that's about it. Alright, it is 10:07 a.m. Just wanted to make an update. BB is just falling hard. It could make an inverse head and shoulders from here. Shoulder, head, shoulder. Right, and then the goal will be, I guess, a spike towards the neckline, or maybe even VWAP, or maybe going green on the day, but that's not, you know, where I'm at the moment. I almost forgot for a half a minute that really I can actually short these things. I would have shorted this, but I would have considered maybe shorting this because it broke VWAP at the market open, bounced back towards VWAP, was not able to touch it, so maybe I wouldn't have even been executed, but you know, maybe I would have taken a short at 1550 and risk off of this 1568 level. Downtrend, you know, tries to get back. Could have came back, honestly, but it didn't. This could be an inverse head and shoulders forming. Nice, that's nice. And look, Schwab has these shares available today. You can't short GME, but you can short AMC. You can short a lot of these. You can't, it doesn't seem like they do stocks under a penny, which is fine. You know, it's not like I can short a large position on these OTCs anyway, but that is impressive. We'll see if this thing can do an inverse head and shoulders, or if it's just going to fade the entire day. I'd be surprised if it drops a lot, because it doesn't really have, you know, in theory, that much range. AMC definitely has range to drop, plenty of space to drop, but right now I don't like anything here. You know, we see a head and shoulders, shoulder, head, shoulder, but you know, it could just bounce from this neckline level right here. So no setups, just an observation here. Okay, just a small update. 10:10 a.m. I considered a buy at 1442, but I was too damn scared. Maybe in the future I'd consider it more, but the idea here is that this thing is just downtrending so much, right? Especially here, we have these solid red candles, and then we had a green candle right here. And I could have considered a buy here, but it just seems scary. The idea is that, again, this strong downtrend, shorts are covering their shares. How do they cover their shares? They take a buy, but I don't know how much is going to spike, if it was going to spike, you know, or if it's just going to be like just a little baby blip of a green candle, and then it just starts downtrending some more. But it looks like it's starting to have some issues. I don't know, just observing these patterns. Ideally, I mean, this could be the head of an inverse head and shoulders, and it spikes to this neckline at 15, give or take, or maybe even 15, 16, right under VWAP. That would be nice, and then it makes a shoulder, but who knows? We'll see if that's what we get or not. Could have considered a buy at 1442. Okay, it is 10:46 a.m. I want to make an update here. This is potentially inverse head and shoulder, shoulder, head, shoulder. I was thinking it might make a head here and do a shoulder. Instead, it kind of just consolidated a little. And now it could potentially do it, but I don't like the price. I don't like that it might make the shoulder here at this 1480 level. You have to remember, we're down 6% on the day. This thing could make a run towards VWAP, 480 to 520. 40 cents on a $15 stock isn't that much. Of course, they can keep uptrending, but how much is it going to continue uptrending? Green, you know, the level right here, red to green will be at 1588. So it could totally do it, you know, and I could risk this 1480 level, but I don't really know. And the VWAP is also getting closer, so there's less range for profitability. It could do it, but you know, I don't like it as much as it would have been maybe right here, or it would have been right under the VWAP. But I'll make an update and see if this works or not. It could totally work. Okay, it's 10:57, so we had that potential inverse head and shoulder, shoulder, head, shoulder, and then this could even be the second higher low. Volume is fading, so maybe there's less dumping action. You can tell that, you know, the volume started to fade when the stock started the uptrend. This thing could totally do it. It's right under the VWAP level, which I don't like, so I'm just not going to trade. I even thought about just trading one share just for the yellow, but you know, if it just chills under 15, that's really bad, so I'm just going to leave it alone. You know, I mean, it kind of did it, like shoulder, head, shoulder, right, from 1480 to 15. Congrats. It wasn't like yesterday. Yesterday was much better. Just gonna continue watching it. I won't trade it. This thing could still turn around, maybe make a, you know, higher low from here and break the VWAP level. But as the VWAP downtrends, I just don't like it, because this could be a short, you know, short risk VWAP, but you know, because it's conflicting, I feel like it's a 50-50 odds instead of, you know, maybe 70-30. I'm just not going to trade it, but I will totally continue watching this to see what it does. Alright, it is 12:06 p.m. I mean, it's midday, not the best time, but I had my alert. I had an alert go off showing that HTZGQ was breaking 6, and it did that. It downtrended as low as 580. That's the problem with this stock. It just doesn't have much range, but it is impressive that it broke this $6 level. That's a nice solid level. Lots of red volume, although it looks like it's trying to bounce back. This could be my attempt at my first short setup. I could short this thing, you know, on the run up, maybe risk 6 or even risk VWAP at 608. That's the thing. If there's not much range, there's also not much range to lose. I could consider a short. My first short was Schwab, just to, you know, short the top of the bounce. Could have bought somewhere in the bounce, but again, there's just not much range, so I don't regret missing the bounce play, but I might. I mean, I don't have to, but I might consider a short sell. HTZGQ, maybe risking 6 or again that VWAP level. It's red on the day. I think, yeah, 622 would make it go green on a day. That would be too much risk if you ask me. I could try risking it off of 6, maybe the VWAP level. It might not even spike back to 6. It might get to the 597 level and fade off. It might just be a bunch of hoopla because it's 12 p.m. and, you know, choppiness can happen, but that's the mindset right now. APT, nothing, BB. Yeah, it kind of did that inverse head and shoulder, shoulder, head, but you know, it failed here, not here, maybe second higher, you know, higher low. Nope, right here, 1471, 1541, one dip right there. That's the second higher low. Too choppy, tried too many times, not interested in this stock anymore. You know, you can say this is a head and shoulders now, right? Like this 1520 level, head, shoulder, shoulder, and then the neckline is at this 1490 level. But now we have support here, You know, it would have to really have a bad day for it to just break all these levels. Is it going to do it on a Friday? I don't think it will. FBCD, I mean it can, but you know, it's just less likely and not something I want to trade. FBC, is this the one I traded in the morning? Wow, this thing looks like a mess. Yeah, I bought it at 185 and I sold at 191 right here. You know, it got to 2, but this thing was very low volume, so I don't regret selling early there. If it was liquid, I would have been a little upset, but not really, because this is better than what I've been doing, you know, so much better than, you know, just a few weeks ago, because now I'm actually selling these past the VWAP level. AMC, nothing I want to trade. NWGC, looks like a head and shoulders too. Don't want to short this on a Friday. You know, I'd have to cover the same day. MJWL starting the uptrend. I don't know. I might consider. You know, I don't have it here. I might consider HTZGQ for a short. Looks like it got as high as 597. If I don't short it, that's fine too. I'm not gonna short BB again. This is too much support now. It'd have to really like be ugly. This thing has more. It looks better in terms of the chart. BB has better range. I guess they both have similar ranges, but it's just gonna be a watch. Maybe I'll consider a short with HTZGQ. Okay, it's 12:14 p.m. I want to make an update. I didn't get short. It was kind of iffy because, you know, there's this person, or I don't know what you want to call it, but there's a lot of selling, a lot of dumping on the bid. But even though there is just so much dumping on the bid, look at the volume here. Even though there is just so much dumping, it's holding very nicely. If you ask me, of course, maybe I'm totally wrong, but you know, it has a lot of dumping, and then it just a few buys on the ask, and it just like almost looks like it's gonna tick up. So it could just be, you know, just choppiness, not much range in this type of stock, and it's playing it perfectly. Didn't get the 6, got the 597 at its best, but I just don't like how much support there is on the bid, even though it is, you know, like 10, not even 10 pennies, even though it's 8 pennies from the 597 level. It is requiring so much size for it to break down, but it makes sense because it's cracking that $6 level. So I'm just gonna continue watching this, but you know, I did not get short. Now the idea was that if I were to have been short at 595, for example, is this thing gonna make a higher low? Ideally it breaks the low right here, but who knows, maybe this is something I'll consider late in the afternoon. You know, right now perhaps it could still do it, but it wasn't a bad setup at all because he had $6 to risk, and if he wanted to be just a little risky, $6.08. I just, you know, I don't like the fact that I have to trade, you know, a $600 position on something that I haven't done in months, shorting a stock. I'm thankful for the opportunity though. It's shortable with Schwab, but we'll see. There's a lot of people on the ask. We'll see if it puts up a higher low, about double bottom, maybe just consolidates there, maybe it breaks. Ideally it breaks, and it can break because it did crack that $6. That's gonna scare a lot of people. You know, I'm pretty sure a lot of people risked, you know, $6 or had stop losses at $6, and that could definitely be the downtrend. It could be stop losses being triggered starting here because $6 cracked, but it's still holding up very nicely considering, you know, the fact that it broke $6 and there's a lot of shares being dumped on the bid. So again, it's just going to be a watch. We'll see what happens here. I'll make an update. Alright, it is 2:10. I have some more work to do. I've been doing other things in the meantime, but yeah, I'm just going to call it off. HTZGQ, what did I expect? I mean, this thing trades, sure, but the range sucks. You know, this is when I consider the short 597 dips, then kind of dipped more, then kind of just bounced back and forth. Now it's just holding this level right here. What can happen is if the VWAP keeps coming closer, this thing could downtrend, or it maybe could do like a FBCD and just kind of, well, I guess not really this one, but it can start the uptrend too. But you know, it is significant in that it closed below 5, not below 5, below 6. So that could be like something where you take a short and you hold for the weekend. I don't want to do that. It's just probably wasted my time, really. But I think I learned a lot from it. This one just looks so much cleaner. BB Blackberry. So shoulder, head, shoulder. This is nice because it's not just a head and shoulder, shoulder, head, shoulder, but you also have VWAP right there acting as a level of resistance. You know, if I had the hindsight, I could have taken a short, you know, on the 515 level, or maybe even like, oh yeah, not much range. Maybe at 15 if I was a bit chasey, but you know, I could have just taken a short. That'd be $1. You know, not exactly 10%, but it's what, 7%, 6.5%. This is pretty nice. Should have considered this one instead. AMC. This one did a head and shoulders, but this one was a bit choppier. You know, I don't mind not trading this one. I mean, a short at 52, cover at 49, but it's a higher priced stock. AAPT is starting the uptrend, but I mean, this thing just doesn't do nice. Morning panic bounce plays. FBCD. Can't believe I bought it right here at this 185 level. Sure, I could have held it longer, but this thing trades with such little volume. I don't mind that at all. And WGC, it looks interesting, but nothing I would have really considered trading. And MJWL, this one just spiked right from the get-go. I'm not really good at those. Really not good at those. Looks like it's just holding VWAP, which is nice. Yeah, just gonna call it off. Just a good trading day. I had one trade with FBCD. Could have shorted HTZGQ and I'd be up just a little bit. I mean, if I shorted at 5.95, at 5.89, I'd be up $6. Whoop-de-doo. On 100 shares. $595 position. Should have really considered shorting this one. I hope in the future, if I see something like this, I'll consider it. Second red day. You know, it immediately cracked VWAP from the get-go. I'm just going to call it off. A really good trading day. Looking forward to potentially shorting next week and, you know, looking at NASDAQ plays even more.